Okay children, now we will be discussing the relation between EMF and terminal potential difference for a given cell. Imagine we have a cell here, these are the two electrodes of the cell, we are connecting an external resistance R, we have a key out here, we can connect an ammeter to measure current in the circuit, and if we are connecting a voltmeter, right? Children, this is positive terminal and this is negative terminal. When we close the key, they can clearly see there is a current being set up in the circuit, right? Now this current in the external circuit flows from positive terminal to the negative terminal. So let us say this current is I. However, inside the electrolyte, it travels from negative electrode to the positive electrode. We can discuss an analogy. As the current is traveling from negative electrode to positive electrode, it is going through what? The internal resistance of a cell. So we can imagine there is an internal resistance R through which the same current is flowing, right? Now when we talk about establishing a relation between terminal potential difference and the EMF, then we have to ask ourselves as to how is the energy spent by the cell being used up. The answer is the energy spent by the cell is being used up for driving the charges across the resistance and for driving them through the what? Electrolyte, right? So we can say at any given moment the work done by the cell will be equal to the work done in driving the charges or the current through the external resistance and for driving through the internal resistance of the cell. Hence we can say here we have a relation between E and V. So keeping in mind the principle of conservation of energy, we can say EMF E is equal to V across resistance plus V across internal resistance R. Is like work done in transferring unit charge through the resistance plus through the electrolyte. Basically the same thing. If we ignore the loss of energy in the wires, so let current is equal to I, then E will be equal to, children, how much? I into capital R plus I into small r. And we already know we can also write I into small r plus capital R plus small r. Now we know that V is equal to I into capital R. If I go to equation 1, therefore from equation 1 E can be written as V plus I into small r, or we can write V equals to E minus I into small r. So here we get very important relation, and from this relation we conclude that E is more than V. EMF will be more than the terminal potential difference. However, in ideal case, if the internal resistance is negligible, if R is 0, which is only in ideal case because there will always be some kind of internal resistance, then from this relation we get E is equal to V. So if you are given a cell which has got negligible internal resistance, then EMF will be equal to the terminal potential difference, right? And from the equation 2 we can calculate how much is the internal resistance. From equation 2, here from this equation, children, I can write capital R plus small r is equal to here E by I. So small r will be E by I is equal to capital R plus small r. So small r will be E by I minus capital R. Okay. So this is an important equation for you. If I use this equation for calculating internal resistance, then I can also say like this. Again, E minus V is equal to I into small r. So we have small r is equal to E minus V by I. So these two equations will be important equation for calculating the value of internal resistance of a given cell. So we understood that EMF will be more than the terminal potential difference provided internal resistance is not 0, which is a practical case. However, if a cell has got negligible internal resistance, then in that case EMF will be more than the terminal potential difference. Now we come on to the next topic, combination of cells. You see, one cell is not enough, and as you know already, a combination of many cells is called what? A battery. Yes, a combination of many cells is called a battery. So we will be seeing what will happen when you combine many cells together, and cells can be combined in how many ways? Two ways. Here we have combination of cells. There are two combinations we will be discussing. One is series combination, and the second one is parallel combination. So there are two combinations in which cells can be connected, but we can also have another combination which will be a mixed combination. We will have series also and we have parallel also. First we will begin with series combination of cells. Let us see children, series combination. So in series combination of cells, we are going to see when we combine cells in series, then what will be the combined EMF of the series combination, which is called equivalent EMF, and we will also see what will be the combined internal resistance of the cell. So let us say like this, there are two cells, one cell I am connecting like this, another cell I am connecting like this, two cells are connected. EMF of the first cell is E1, internal resistance how much? R1. EMF of the second cell is E2, and internal resistance how much is R2. If I try to visualize these two cells, I can visualize like this also. We have EMF, we have internal resistance R1, and this becomes first cell. So we will be writing E1 comma R1. Now here we put another cell. Children, EMF is E2, internal resistance is R2, right? This is how the currents are flowing through the two cells, right? Let us say the current is I. I will take this point as P, I will take this point as Q, and I will take this point as R. Clear? So if I want to find out effective or equivalent potential difference between the two cells, then I will be writing V is equal to, here we have V PQ, which is V PR plus V. PR means across the first cell plus V across RQ. Clear? And then I can write PR across the first cell, terminal potential difference will be how much, children? E1 minus IR1. Similarly, what will be the potential difference across the second cell? That will be E2 minus IR2. Now we put E1 and E2 together, then what do we get? E1 plus E2 minus I into R1 plus R2. So children, V is equal to E1 plus E2 minus I into R1 plus R2. Now what is E1 plus E2? This is actually the equivalent EMF. And what is R1 plus R2? That is equivalent internal resistance, meaning when I am putting two cells in series, then this will be the equivalent EMF. We can also calculate like this, V equivalent is E equivalent minus R equivalent. Yes, if I combine, then V equivalent is V, E equivalent is E1 plus E2, and R equivalent is R1 plus R2. So here we will write, by combining we get, children, E equivalent is equal to E1 plus E2 and R equivalent is equal to R1 plus R2, right? So this is what we get, that equivalent EMF will be E1 plus E2 and equivalent resistance will be R1 plus R2. But now see, if instead of 2 cells I am connecting n cells, let us see here, for n cells, you have to understand it nicely. Suppose this is how I am connecting n cells, dot 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 n cells, right, and these are E1 R1, E2 R2, E3 R3, and then it goes on En. So if we connect in series, remember in this combination I am connecting positive with negative, positive negative, positive negative, positive negative, positive negative, right? Alternate what? Terminals are connected. Then in this case E equivalent will be E1 plus E2 plus E3 will go on dot dot En. So sigma Ei, right? And now equivalent resistance will be equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3, like series combination, Rn, and this will be sigma Rn, Req. So this will be important result for you. But in numericals, sometimes they can confuse you. Okay. So we'll discuss that also. Now here is the expression that we got for equivalent potential difference in terms of equivalent EMF and equivalent internal resistance. Now sometimes in series combination they will be connecting some of the cells wrongly. Let us see what will happen. Wrongly connected cells, wrongly connected cells. Suppose I am connecting a number of cells like this. How many cells have connected? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You study carefully. Let us say internal resistance of each cell is 3 volts, EMF is 3 volts, internal resistance is 1 ohm. So this is also 3 volts, 1 ohm, 3 volts, 1 ohm. It goes on, and they ask you calculate number 1 equivalent EMF, number 2 equivalent internal resistance. Now this could be a technical question. Like in series combination we said that the equivalent EMF will be equal to sum of EMFs, but that is possible only when the cells are connected properly. If they are connected wrongly, then you can see this combination will send a current anti-clockwise and this combination will send a current clockwise, right? So these cells actually will be opposing the cells which are rightly connected in majority, right? So majority how many there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I say equivalent EMF E will be equal to 3 into 5, because 5 cells are rightly connected, minus 1, 2 cells are wrongly connected. So 3 into 2. So it will be 15 minus 6. How many volts? 9 volts. Meaning this combination of how many cells? 7 cells is equivalent to combination of how many cells? Just 3 cells. But equivalent internal resistance Req will be obtained by adding all the resistances. So it will be 1 into 7, 7 ohm. Clear? So it is important for you to know that this combination several cells will act like a battery like this. Okay, its EMF will be 9 volts and internal resistance will how many volts? 7 volts. Okay, so make sure that you are able to handle these wrong connections if they are given in the examination. Okay, wrongly connected cells. Now children will be saying parallel combination of cells. Our next topic is parallel combination of cells. Clear? So we are combining here two cells. One cell is here and other cell is here. So this will be direction of the current. This current is I1 and this current is I2, and combined current is how much? I, right? First cell EMF is E1, internal resistance how much? R1. Second cell E2, internal resistance how much? R2, right? So here we will try to calculate what will be the equivalent EMF and what will be the equivalent internal resistance. Okay. Now in parallel combination, children, suppose just take one point here as P, I take another point here as Q. Then you know that potential difference across both the batteries will be, both the cells will be what? Same, right? So I will say let potential difference is equal to V. And now if current is I, total current, then I will be equal to how much? I1 plus I2, don't forget. Then current from first cell, children, I1 will be how much here? E1 minus V by R1, right? We have already done I is equal to E minus V by R. Yes? Where is this formula? E1 minus V by R1. Because V is same, we have assumed applied potential difference is V. That is what I am trying to calculate. Now again, current from second cell. Now second cell is supplying how much current? I2. So children, I2 will be how much? I2 will be E2 minus V by R2. Therefore, total current is I equals to how much? I1 plus I2. I is equal to I1 plus I2. Let's put in the values. So I is equal to, we have E1 minus V by R1 plus E2 minus V by R2. Clear? Now if I split it, then I is equal to, we have E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2 minus V into 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. We can add this? Yes. I equals to, even I separated the E terms together and V terms together. Now if I take LCM and solve, I into E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 R2 minus V into R1 plus R2 divided by R1 R2. Now I will be doing little bit mathematical work on this. If we cross multiply, then you get I into R1 R2 is equal to, we have E1 R2 plus E2 R1 minus V into R1 plus R2. We can write. Now from here I can say, bring this V term on the left hand side, V into R1 plus R2 equals to E1 R2 plus E2 R1 minus I into R1 R2. I got double of V into R1 plus R2 is E1 R2 plus E2 R1 minus I into R1 plus R2. We will solve this equation for V. Then V becomes, children, E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Yes, I am dividing by R1 plus R2 both sides, and then here we get minus I into R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So let's encircle the enclose in brackets This is the condensed equation for potential difference. This is the condensed equation, but we know that V equivalent is equal to E equivalent minus R equivalent. So if I combine this, V is V equivalent, so this term will be what? Equivalent EMF, and this term will be equivalent internal resistance. So let us solve it. Then combining, equivalent EMF will be E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 plus R2, and equivalent internal resistance will be R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So we calculated what will be the equivalent EMF and what will be the equivalent internal resistance. So equivalent internal resistance is in fact like parallel combination of two resistances. Okay, that means when I am putting these two cells together in parallel, then it is acting like what? A cell here, having what EMF? E equivalent, internal resistance what? R equivalent. Clear? If I divide, then I will be getting E equivalent by R equivalent. R1 plus R2 will cancel out. So what will you get? E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 R2. And if you divide this, you will be getting E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2. So this is another interesting equation you have. Children, you will remember this. E equivalent divided by R equivalent is equal to E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2. So this is an important discussion we had. In parallel combination, you have to bear in mind that applied potential difference here is what? Same. Applied potential difference is what? Same. And then from there we calculate how much is the total current in the circuit. So we saw a situation for two cells, but you can come across a situation we have more than two cells. We can connect n cells. In parallel combination, we have seen all the positive terms will be connected at one point and all the negative terminals will be connected at the other point. All entire combination will be held between 2 points only, right? Suppose I have n cells which are connected in parallel. If n cells are connected in parallel, if I am connecting n cells in parallel, children, then what will I get? Equivalent divided by R equivalent is equal to E1 by R1 plus E2 by R2 will go on for how many cells? All the n cells. So you can write this as sigma E by EI by RI I1 to n. Clear? And 1 by R equivalent will be 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 1 by Rn. So sigma 1 by Ri I1 to n. We can simplify numerically and we can take reciprocal to get how much is equivalent internal resistance. This is an important what? Expression. Imagine here I connect two cells. Here we have 4 volts, 2 ohm, 2 volts and 1 ohm. These longer plates are positive, as you know, shorter plates are negative. So if I want to calculate how much is the equivalent EMF, then equivalent EMF will be, children, E1 R2 E2 R1 divided by R1 plus R2. Yes. Now how much is E1? E1 is 4 volts and R2 is how much? 1 ohm. So putting the values, equivalent will be 4 into 1 plus 2 into 2 divided by 2 plus 1, 8 by 3. Clear? So, in this discussion, children, we have come across the series as well as parallel combination of cells. Study this properly. Now, we will be discussing the next topic, which comes to our day-to-day lives very often. We come across this phenomenon, that is heating effect of currents. Let us understand what exactly is heating effect of current. You know that for making a current flow through a circuit, what is important? It is important to have a battery. Why a battery is required? Because battery does the necessary work, supply the necessary amount of energy for maintaining the flow of current. In other words, as current is flowing through a resistance, charges need to be driven through the resistance, because the resistance will oppose the movement of charges, and that will be done by the what? Cell or battery. So, now imagine a situation here. We connect a battery, right? Here we can connect a voltmeter to know how much potential difference across the resistance R, and here we can connect an ammeter to know how much is the current in the circuit. Clear? So, first we start with heating or thermal effect of current. Heating or thermal effect of current. Clear? So, children, as current flows through this resistance, in fact, then some work has to be done. And why some work has to be done? Because this resistance will offer opposition to the flow of charge carriers. Now, if you go microscopically, then you know that as charges move through the conductor, they keep what? Colliding, impinging on stationary positive ions, and hence the heat energy is what? Dissipated. Clear? So, we define first when current is allowed to pass through a wire, work done by the source of EMF. And what is source of EMF? Cell or battery is dissipated in the form of heat. This phenomenon is called heating effect of current. And children, we come across the heating effect of current very often. In fact, we are so much used to using this heating effect of current that it becomes impossible for us many times when it is very cold and you want to take a bath. You need what? For a hot shower you need what? A geyser, right? So, geyser works on the heating effect of current. You need a heater which works on the principle of current. You require electric iron which works on the principle of current, right? So, it is indispensable. Now, in fact, if you send current through a wire for a long time, then you find the wire also gets heated. If you are using an electrical instrument for a very long time, then it gets what? Heated, and you need to shut it down for some time so that it can cool down, and again you can get started, right? So, this is coming from the work done by the source of EMF, the battery. The battery does work in maintaining the flow of current through the circuit, and this work done is dissipated in the form of heat, and the wire gets what? Heated up, right? Now, suppose the potential difference across this resistance is R, current is flowing through it, then in a given time interval charge Q passes. So, let charge Q passes through a potential difference V, right. So, work done will be how much? W is equal to Q into V, very simple. Now, this work done will be utilized to increase the kinetic energy of charged particles which are moving through the conductor. Clear? Hence, heat produced H is equal to W joules. If you are calculating heat produced in joules and not in calorie, then I can use this value only, H equals to Q into V. But remember, when I am using this, the unit of heat here is what? Joule and not calorie. For converting joules into calorie in class 11 Joule's law, yes, so we will be dividing by J, that is 4.2. I will be writing that also. So, heat produced in joule is equal to how much? Q into V. But children, Q is equal to how much? I into T. Suppose charge is not given, current is given and time in seconds is given. If I put it here, then H is equal to how much, children? H is equal to VIT joule. Again, this is heat produced in joule. How much is that? VIT. Now, suppose potential difference is not given and we have been given only current and the resistance. So, here I will be doing, but V is equal to I into R. So, we get next relation here, H is equal to IR into IT. So, H equals to how much here? I square RT, and this will also be measured in terms of joule. We can get another equation, I is equal to V by R, then it will be V I T, put of I, H is equal to V square, V into V by R into T. So, H will be V square by R into T. So, children, for calculating heat produced in joules, we got 4 equations. And remember, each one of these equations in joule gives us the work which will be done by the battery. Be very sure about this. W will be same as H joules. So, we have QV, VIT, I square RT and V square T by R. Any of these 4 equations we can easily use. So, heat dissipated is basically the work done by the battery. Now, suppose I want to calculate heat produced in calories, because basically heat is calculated in terms of what? Calories. Then we can use Joule's law. We have done Joule's law in class 11, which says that work done is directly proportional to heat produced. So, if I want to calculate heat produced in calories, H is equal to W by J, and J is Joule's constant. J is actually 4.18 joule per calorie. Clear? I will let here joule so that you do not get J and J on both sides. If I use this, then H will be equal to VQ by 4.2. So, 4.18 we are approximately taking as 4.2, or H is equal to VIT by 4.2. H is equal to I square RT by 4.2 and H is equal to V square by R into T 4.2 R. So all these equations will give you heat produced in calories. So we have heat produced in joules and heat produced in calories. Okay. Now we will briefly discuss another topic, which is electrical power. What is electrical power? You see, just now we did that for maintaining a constant flow of current through a circuit, battery has to perform certain amount of work, and this work is dissipated in the form of heat. Clear? Rate at which a battery is dissipating its what energy is called electric power. Okay? Rate of work done by a battery or an electrical appliance is called electrical power. So children, electrical power P will be equal to, like any other power, work by time. And then four formulas for work we have got. This is all calorie. If you remove 4.2, then VQ, VIT, I square RT and V square T by R, right? So if you divide all this by T, then T will disappear, and then here we will get P is equal to 4 equations, VI, I square by R, V square by R. So these three will be important formulas for calculating electric power, and another one will also be there, P is equal to VQ by T, which I have already written because Q by T is equal to I. Okay. Now unit of power you already know, unit of power is watt. So unit of any power, electrical or not, will be watt, and then we will denote by W. 1 kilowatt will be 10 to the power 3 watt, 1 megawatt will be 10 to the power 6 watt, 1 gigawatt will be 10 to the power 9 watt, and 1 terawatt will be 10 to the power 12 watt. 10 to the power 12 megawatt is actually most of the powerhouses which are producing electricity on commercial scale, they are producing in terms of megawatt. Clear? Gigawatt and terawatt extremely high units of power. Sun produces terawatts of power, for example. Then we make another commercial unit which you use very often. 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watts. Clear? So electricity, children, basically is a form of energy, and energy is used very extensively by us. Like when I started this chapter, I told you that electricity is so essential that we cannot do about this. Hence, we consume huge amount of electrical energy for the household activities. You have seen in a house, you have installed 1 meter. The electricity department installs 1 meter to measure how much of electricity have you used, and the electricity is measured in terms of commercial unit of electricity. Okay. So we will just finish what will be the commercial units of electricity. There are 2 commercial units of electricity. One is called watt hour. Watt hour will be writing WH, and children, 1 watt hour means 1 watt into 1 hour. If an electrical device is dissipating energy at the rate of 1 watt for 1 hour, then it is known as 1 watt hour. And 1 watt hour is 1 joule per second, and hour is 3600 second. If you cancel it, then 3600 joule, 1 watt hour. Now the next unit is kilowatt hour. Kilowatt hour. We write this as kWh. Clear? Now this is commercial unit of electricity, which is called unit. 1 kilowatt hour is 1 unit. Okay? Like you are using electricity connection in a house, and at the end of the month you get 250 units. That means 250 kilowatt hour. So children, 1 kilowatt hour, this is a commercial unit of electricity. This is commercial unit. 1 kilowatt hour is 1 kilowatt into 1 hour. 1 kilowatt is what? 10 to the power 3, 1000 watt joule per second, and this is 3600 second. Clear? So if we simplify, children, then we get 1 kilowatt hour is 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joules, which is quite a large amount of energy. This is 1 kilowatt hour, and 1 kilowatt hour, like I said, it just has 1 unit of electricity. 1 unit of electricity. But sometimes you will get sums for calculating number of electrical units consumed. Then you can use this formula directly. Number of